In the last part, we saw that the conversation of Zhu Xiao and Xiao Jie. That time, Zhu Xiao asked Xiao Jie why the Xia Empire had not found any trouble with her. Xiao Jie gave her a lustful glance, and while smiling, he laughed and said, "Perhaps the Xia Emperor still has some kind of wishful thoughts about me." Even though her current state of mind was completely not in the mood of his antics, Zhu Xiao still chucked in amusement and accompanied him. Before leaving, Xiao Jie stood by the door and suddenly turned back, smiling at her and telling her, "Xiao Xiao, I want you to think about this very carefully. In this world, who would treat you so well? For you when you had given up so much. For you, he went through life and death. For you, he gave up all his material wealth and abandonment, his status. Not only that, but he saved you and did not even tell you. Such people are rare to begin with. You have to think about it carefully. After you have made up your mind, you have to tell me, and I will make arrangements to send you off gloriously for your marriage." With the sycamore leaves in a mix of red and yellow, it covered the sky, only allowing a few strands of sunlight to slip through, shining onto the land beneath. Standing in the desolated place, she thought about the words that Xiao Jie had spoken before he left, as she carefully thought about the last battle she had in Yanbei. The timing of attack, defense, retreat, cover, along with the number of forces that were involved in the offense, interception, along with the speedy relay of information and the capability of the people who could suddenly appear within Yanbei territory. Just like Xiao Jie had said, who could actually be so good to her? A certain thought seeped out and grew like a creeper plant, wrapping around her. As the moon rose up and eventually sank into the horizon, the sun rose up yet again, bringing unending light to the world. She merely stood there the entire night as she repeatedly thought about the question again and again, while seeking evidence for her shocking hypothesis. A light gradually started to shine in her eyes as a pearl-like teardrop dripped onto her chest, one after another. Yet she was not the least bit sad or in anguish. She had been overwhelmed by surprise and hope as she trembled. At that moment, the golden sunlight had peeked into the room through the window, shining onto her pale white face. She laughed like a carefree child as tears flowed freely down her cheeks. Xiao Jie saw her to leave and smiled slightly, taking up his flute to play a joyful farewell song for her. The tune was clear and echoed across the extravagant palace, following her shadow as it stepped out of the rows of palace doors, over the golden door sills, the tall corridors, the red palace walls, and finally into the vast lands. He was thinking that I thought that I was the craziest person alive. However, when I compare myself to you, I am insignificant. Xiaoche mocked himself in his thoughts. How could he compete with a lunatic? Once one stepped out of Baizi Pass, one would have reached the territory of Xia. Although it was winter time, the climate was still warm towards the southwest of Xianyang. When Chu Xiao stepped out of the pass, it was actually raining. As she stood on the passageway leading into Xianyang city, she felt hesitant, not knowing if she should have walked in. The past 11 years of her life had been eventful. The first 8 years of her life had been filled with dark times, while the last 3 years had been dosed with bloodshed. Now that she had finally broken out of the chain of her fate, she did not know where to wander to. Her initial sense of excitement had subsided. Calmness and rationality had taken over. If it was really true, what kind of person would he be now? How could he mix around with a person of her status? She had caused him to nearly die a few times. Was she going to destroy whatever he had now? Yet again, if her thoughts proved to be wrong, Xiaoche's word would have meant that Yanshun had let her go out of mercy. How would she view this matter then? Presently, she no longer had any more courage to ask about anything else. Hence, she resided in Xianyang city. She rented a small house with one door and one courtyard in a remote place. 2 willow branches hang in front of her door but had wilted. She wants to live here calmly. Thank you for staying right beside me. Feel free to share, comment and subscribe. Don't forget to like the videos to know the further story. There are many more in the upcoming part. We will see the encounter of Chu Xiao and Yu. Thank you.